All right, so for tonight, Math 8 kids, you guys are looking at the world of transformations. 4 kinds of transformations could occur. You're looking at reflections, you're looking at translations, rotations, and dilations. And the 2 that we're going to focus on tonight, which should be review, which is going to be the rules to reflections and translations. So if you don't know these rules, you're going to have to start memorizing them because this is the only way that you're going to get through this unit. So our target is to be able to identify and represent all these different kinds of transformations that occur. So take a look at the first kind that we're going to look at, which is reflection. The first one says to find the vertices of the figure after reflection over the x-axis. And then you're going to graph the new image of the figure onto the same graph that's given. So take a look at triangle ABC. We have the vertices for A is sitting at, 1, 4. Vertex B is sitting at 6, 4. And vertex C is sitting at 2, 2. So that's the first thing you need to do is recognize your ordered pairs for each of these vertices. And then because it's asking you to reflect over the x-axis, if you remember what is the one name, one word that would remind you to reflect, and that would be to flip. So we're going to flip this over the x-axis. So we're going to take a look and we're going to make sure that we're flipping over the x-axis. So we want a mirror image of triangle ABC, which should end up in the 4th quadrant if you do this correctly. So if we flipped A over from the 1st quadrant to the 4th quadrant, 1 stays the same, but then 4 changes to a negative. B, if we flip it, it would end up from the 1st quadrant to the 4th quadrant. X stays the same, Y changes to its opposite. And then vertex for C at 2, 2, you're sitting in the 1st quadrant, you should end up in the 4th quadrant, which would be sitting at 2, -2. So if I graph the new figure, I'm looking at 1 to the right, 4 down. Here's my new A. We call that A prime. The new B is 6 to the right and 4 down. That's B prime. And then the new C is 2 to the right, 2 down. And that's C prime. So you're going to take your straight edge, you're going to connect A to B, B to C, and then A back to C. And if we did this correctly, our triangle should be flipped over the x-axis, which it is, and it should be the mirror image. So basically an upside down ABC triangle. So take a couple seconds here, write down the rule. What happened to the x's? The x coordinate always stays the same. And then the y coordinate always changes to its opposite. So when you make sure that you draw, make sure that you are labeling which vertex go with which vertex, and then the new vertex always gets a tick mark, so I know that we have transformed the picture from the original to the new. So take a look at your next example, finding the vertex for reflection over the y-axis. So let's go back to the original picture of triangle ABC. So the same coordinates do not change. We're going to leave it at 1, 4, 6, 4, and 2, 2. And if we're going to reflect it over the y-axis, so we are looking at what's originally in the 1st quadrant. We are not going to flip it over the y-axis, which means you should end up in the 2nd quadrant. So reflection for A should be 1 to the left and 4 up. So 1 to the left would make that negative, but you're still going to go up 4. The B, you're going to, instead of being in the 1st quadrant, you want to be in the 2nd, so we're going to make 6 negative, but we're still going to go up 4. And for the C, instead of being 2 to the right and 2 up, we're going to go 2 to the left and 2 up. So if we do this correctly, we should end up in the second quadrant, 1 to the left, 4 up, which I already plotted originally. 6 to the left is my new B, 4 up. And then C should be 2 to the left, 2 up. So again, A prime, B prime, C prime, take your straight edge, connect A to B, B to C, and back to A to C. So the reflection, again, mirror image, you're flipping it, but this time we're flipping over the y-axis. So when you take a chance to write down your rule, the y values should always stay the same when we reflect over the y-axis. Y stay the same. And then the x-coordinate this time will change to its opposite. So these are the two sets of rules for simply reflecting. Either you're reflecting over the x-axis or reflecting over the y-axis. So this should be a review, but now we're actually putting these down into words. Take a look at the second transformation. Flip your page over. And we're going to look at translations. The one word that we should be thinking of when we see the word translation is the word slide. That means you're going to take your original figure, whatever the figure might be, and you're going to move it left to right and up and down. There's no turning, there's no flipping, you're just taking the figure and sliding it. So this time, the ABC, I'm giving you the vertices. And then we are going to graph the original picture, and then we're going to translate the new figure. 5 units left and 3 units up. And then we're going to also graph the new image. So the original vertex for A was sitting at 1, -2. So here's my original A. 1 to the right, 2 down. My B is 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, always go back and label. Your original vertex for C should be 4 to the right. And you're going up 1. So there's my original C. So my figure, if we connect A to B, B to C, and then back to A and C, you guys should have a triangle, mainly in the second quadrant, but a little bit in the first quadrant. We're going to slide this figure. We're going to translate it 5 units left, 3 units up. So I'm going to do one ordered pair at a time, one vertex at a time. So if I take the A and I move it 5 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I go 3 up, 1, 2, 3. Remember, my new A has an A prime stuck on there. B, take the original vertex, 5 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 up, 1, 2, 3. There's my new B. Don't forget your tick mark. And then the C, again, 5 to the left, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 up, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put this in a different color just so you guys can see the difference of what happened. A to B gets connected, B to C gets connected, and then A to C gets connected. So there is the new triangle. The black was the original, red is the new. We slid 5 units left, 3 units up. So now our goal is to actually write the new vertices. All right, so let's continue. So what we've got here, once we translated, we should be able to write the new vertices for the triangle ABC. So the new A should be sitting 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, 1 up. The new B should be 1, 2, 2 to the left, 2 down, -2, -2. And then the new C should be 1 to the left and 1 up. I'm sorry, 4 up. Miscounted there, 4 up. 1 to the left, 4 up. So how do we do this if we don't have pictures and we don't have graphs, we just have the vertices? So take a look, what essentially is happening? If we take the x values and knowing which way the x values translated, it went 5 units to the left. 5 units to the left simply means subtracting, folks. So we're going to subtract off 5 literally from the first coordinate. 1 minus 5 is -4. 3 minus 5 is -2. 4 minus 5 is -1. So we just use subtraction just simply to get the new coordinates, and I wouldn't have to have drawn a picture. I mean, if I do this one more time, but this time I'm looking at the y coordinates. Remember what we did with the y coordinates. We shifted and we moved it 3 units up. Well, if we go up, we're actually adding 3 to every y value. So -2 plus 3 will equal 1. -5 plus 3 will equal -2. 1 plus 3 will equal 4. So there's the new set of vertices for triangle ABC. So we're going to do one more. Take a look at number 2. Same idea. They want us to find the new vertices with a translation of 2 units right, 5 units down, and then you're going to graph the new image. So show me the original, which should have been, let's do this up. We're going to go 4 to the left and 3 up. My original A. My B is 1 to the left, 1 up. C will be 2 to the right, 3 up. And D is going to be 1 to the left and 5 up. So make sure you label A, B, C, D, and make sure you connect A, B, C, D with straight edges. A to B, C to D. So you should have the shape of a parallelogram. Take that figure. We are going to translate it 2 units to the right, 5 units down. So if this works, all I need to do is take all the x values, and I should be able to, since it says move 2 units to the right, that means I should simply have to add 2 to do it. So -4 plus 2, -2. -1 plus 2 is 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. -1 plus 2 is 1. Working on the y's, it says to translate to, let's see, 5 units down. So the operation there would be a subtraction of 5. So 3 minus 5 will give me a -2. 1 minus 5 will give me -4. 3 minus 5 will give me a -2 again. And 5 minus 5 is actually 0. So let's go back in. Let's go ahead and graph again. But this time, notice how I didn't actually move literally. I just did the arithmetic on the right side. So I'm going to use my new ordered pairs. I'm going to use my new ordered pairs. And I'm going to graph my new ordered pairs. 2 to the left, 2 down. That should be my new A. 1 to the right, 4 down. Should be my new B. The new C should be 4 to the right, 2 down. And D should be 1 to the right, stay at 0. So I'm going to change this to a blue. Connect, connect, connect. So we've just translated the red figure 2 units to the right and then 5 units down. So let's just verify. I started with my original A, 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. There it is. That's correct. B, 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So we can physically do this by taking our pencil or pen and taking the original, move it exactly like it says. Or we can apply the arithmetic like I did over here on the right side and either add or subtract depending on the scenario. So write in the rule for translation. On the x coordinate, since we know that x is always left to right, if it says go right, right's going to be add. If it says go left, you're going to subtract. So make sure those pair up just like that. X coordinate is always left to right, and it's always right is addition, left is always subtraction. And then you'll do the same thing with the y coordinate. The y coordinate will slide up and down only. So if it says up, that means you're going to add the coordinates. If it says down, you're going to subtract the coordinates. And those are the notes that should be done for today, and we are going to practice in class next time we meet again.